Early results from NASA's study of astronaut Scott Kelly and his Earthbound identical twin Mark Kelly have so far raised no red flags about the effects of long-term space travel on health, said scientists at the 2019 AAAS Annual Meeting. Craig Kundrot, director of NASA's Space Life and Physical Sciences Research and Applications Division, said so far there are no red flags in the data coming out of the twin study, but that the team will continue to study the changes that were unexpected. These changes could be a good adaptive response to spaceflight with no permanent consequences, because you expect the body to make some adjustments, or it could be sending things down a path that could be a concern, and we just don't know yet, he said. A year in space does change a man, however. Scott Kelly's time in low Earth orbit on board the International Space Station revved up his immune system and caused an unexpected shed of mitochondrial DNA fragments into his bloodstream. But these and other molecular changes may be temporary and reversible signs of the body adapting to the stresses of low gravity, radiation, and higher than normal levels of carbon dioxide in the air, among other challenges, the researchers said. Long-term spaceflight produces thousands of changes in an astronaut's genes, small molecules, and microbial companions, said Chris Mason, a physiology and biophysics professor at Weill Cornell Medical College, but over 91% of genes return back to normal very quickly, upon coming back to Earth, and we see that for the most part the body has this extraordinary plasticity and adaptation to being in zero gravity, at least for a year. Since the study includes only 2 individuals, we don't regard any of this as conclusive, but on the whole it's encouraging, said Kundrot. Sylvain Costas, Chris Mason and Craig Kundrot spoke Friday at a 2019 AAAS Annual Meeting press briefing. Rob Cohen Photography. It appears that the body is almost on a kind of high alert, which you would imagine if your body suddenly went zero gravity, he said. The researchers also saw a spike in freely circulating mitochondrial DNA, not contained within cells, in Scott's blood at the beginning and at the end of the mission. Levels of this type of free DNA can be an indicator of overall health and of which cells are dying at which speed, Mason said, explaining that the phenomenon occurs on Earth in healthy people as well. Mason said the scientists aren't sure yet how the mitochondrial DNA is being released from cells, but he noted that this freed DNA may be one trigger of the immune system, priming it to cope with the stress of spaceflight. Conducting rigorously controlled experiments on 2 humans 240 vertical miles apart has its challenges, said Mason, including the repatriation of Scott's blood samples that were returned to Earth in Kazakhstan. The scientists tried to control one more variable when they asked Mark to eat the same meals as Scott during the experiment. He politely declined, and I think stuck to the nachos and margaritas, and kept a food log of that, Mason said. Research on microbes, plants and animals conducted through NASA's GenLab project can help fill in the details of what happens across a variety of biological systems during long-haul space flights, said Sylvain Costas, the project's manager and principal investigator. GenLab is the world's first database to contain gene expression, protein and metabolism data on organisms sent to space, along with comparative data from Earth. The unique database allows scientists to uncover space-related changes that may not have been obvious at first, said Costas, who discussed an ongoing study in mice that revealed unexpected changes in the liver. We see some changes at the mitochondrial level in animals that seems to be having profound effects on the liver, and then the liver itself sends signals to the entire tissue of the mice, and it seems to affect the eyes and muscle, he said. We're not really sure yet what it means, but it was a surprise because liver has really never been on the list of key organs studied in human space research. Much of the data gathered in GenLab comes from low-orbit experiments on the International Space Station, but conditions in deep space will be different, said Kundrot, noting that rate of radiation doses will be 2 times higher than in low orbit. Kundrot said on Friday that NASA will soon announce experimental payloads for Exploration Mission 1, a 26-day uncrewed mission that will push beyond the Moon, to explore the biological impacts on deep space.